Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dolbeck. Today we're gonna speak about the Mystic. The Mystic is one of the new archetype in New World Aeternum. The archetype is already something that was existing before, but now to give it a name to it, and for the healer is the Mystic. But yeah, the healer is well known just as a healer in New World, so you can call it Evil Healer and everyone will like you. So, at the start, the best thing gonna be to just use your Void Blade. You put a Void Blade on your Void Gauntlet and you Void Blade everything till the end. It's gonna be the best thing to do for you, and you're gonna need to know that at the end in PvP, people use a Rapier with the Life Staff. So with the Rapier, it gives you some mobility to escape, and the Void Gauntlet's gonna be more for PvE. And there's the flail too that you can use for the healer, but you're gonna only use a flail on a healer in PvE when there's a Void Gauntlet in your team. If there's no Void Gauntlet in your team, you need the buff from the Void Gauntlet, like to do speed run or dungeon. Like the buff from Void Gauntlet are so heavy that if you are an high level mutation and you don't have it, maybe you're not gonna finish the dungeon in time to gold it. So by having that damage output, what the Void Gauntlet does, it put like a weaken on the an armor of the enemy. So yeah, the armor of the enemy become weakened by like 15%. There's like 3 stack, it's 3 hit. And then after that, everyone in your group do 15% more damage to this enemy. So that just means your dungeon is going 15% faster. So that's amazing when you think about it. And there's a yeah. So I think with the Void Gauntlet, if you start with that, that's gonna be perfect. And then what you need to remember, and there's some multiple type of creature, like the Angry Earth, as example, and the Lust. The Lust are like the undead, and the Angry Earth like the plant, and there's some other. But the Angry Earth are gonna be weak to fire. So if you put a fire gem into your Void Blade, it's gonna do more damage against the nature enemy, like the enemy that are made from branch, like the Angry Earth. So if you have a hard time in doing one boss at a certain place into the game, you just put the fire gem into your Void Gauntlet, you're gonna be stronger. And if it's a Lust, they are weaker against Natsur, so just hit more with your life staff because your life staff is Natsur, but they are weak to ice too. But you better put a Natsur gem into your Void Gauntlet if you think you're really gonna use it like that. And there's some, like the Ancient are already weak to Void, so you don't need to put a Thunder gem in your Void Gauntlet for them, but they are more weak to Thunder. So yeah, um, how to say, the everyone need a healer, so in PvP you're gonna have easy time to find a group. Same thing for dungeon, it's one of the easiest build to find a group, but the healer, there's a big skill gap. You're gonna see a good healer and a bad healer, it's like night and day, and it takes a good time just to learn to have the good movement with the rapier and have a good map awareness to be a really good healer and survive because it's one of the most pressure role to you need to how to say that everyone is counting on you and everyone's gonna blame you if they die. So it's the role with the most pressure in your world, it's the healer. And everyone really does blame the healer every time that they die. And even if it's not the healer fault, it happen a lot. Like it's one of the main things that happen in dungeon. It's like one of the things that fuck up dungeon is just people that complain about heal and it's just them that die for no reason. Most of the time, the in dungeon, what's gonna happen? You're gonna put AoE heal and you're gonna send it on the tank, and the DPS is just gonna have to survive off the heal or around the tank, and it's far enough for them. I know it because I did it, and the DPS, the good DPS, is gonna put between 45 to like 50 constitution. It's like the number of health you have. They put it very low so they have more stats into DPS stats. So like they do a lot of DPS, and when they die, it's one tap. So most of your heal are there for the fortify. Like if you take the fortify sacred ground, you're gonna need the weapon perk for the fortify sacred ground, orb of protection. Then you're gonna use the beacon on top of that, and then depending on some dungeon, you're gonna change your build depending on dungeon because some dungeon needs some other build. All right, and sometimes the meta change too. So yeah. And then when you're gonna get into war, it's some other ability, it's some other skill set, and depending your positionment in war, you're gonna use different abilities. So you better ask to your leader when you if you get put into war, you ask to your leader, you want me to run this, or that, because depending on your role, it's gonna be different heal. It's not every shot caller that is gonna be all right. Put the build you like the most and go with it. If it's gonna happen, every healer is gonna just put AoE heal and they're just gonna pump on the clump to have the best stats and to look good in the leaderboard. But it's not the goal to healer. Your goal is not to look good on the leaderboard. It's to make your team feel safe so they can make play. And if your team feels safe, it really does make play. And with the rapier, with the riposte, you can set up some kill and stuff, but you better not expose yourself too much by doing it. And yeah, if you're aggressive as a healer, it's okay in small scale. You can survive doing it, but in war, it's you're gonna die. Everyone is looking for healer because the healer, if you kill a couple, sometimes it changes the tide of the game. So yeah, if you're a healer, you can kinda hide the back line. The healer role that is harder in a war, it's the one that are like on the extreme side of the point. Like there's usually one team there and three team on the other side, and it's those that are really on the side there. They have no cover, nothing, and they need to play against some bow user and some red jet DPS. So those have a really hard time, and more you get closer to the point, easier it is to survive because you have more teammate to create a wall between you and the danger, and you can use them and just run around them and survive because of that. There's no like the people usually that are made to chase it are kind of squishy. So if you drag them into your backline, the people in the backline just gonna melt them really easy. It's not gonna be a problem too much. Um, but yeah, so the ability of the Void Gauntlet, it depends on you. If you use like the Scream, the Blade, and the Oblivion, you're gonna be kind of sure of what you do at the start. But then when you get into mutation, you can start looking for other build. I'm gonna put another build into the description. The healer build is gonna be there and into the comment section. So if you're just looking for it, you just go and it's pretty good build and it's without the scream because what is happening is there's a lot of CC that they are calling. The people are putting the mob together. They are trying to use ability to put the mob together, like to suck the mob in so to it make a clean clump. And then there's the scream that you can keep them together, like you do, and then they are root them. The enemy are rooted there during 2 or 3 seconds, and then take a moment before they have to move. It's a really good ability, and the scream is good, but there's some other builds that are even better if your goal is only to min-max at the end when you're into the real speed run and when your goal is just to be top of the leaderboard board, then there's some other build and then the scream. So you change your build, it's like a tether, I think, or something. No, it's not tether, it's the I don't remember the name, but the build's gonna be into the description. And yeah, this shit is insane. So you're gonna need to focus mostly on your defense gear at the start. Don't like I've seen a lot of healer that had shitty gear and they was just focusing on the refreshing in the start. But this is not what you're gonna do. You're gonna focus more on the defensive perk and then add some refishing when you have some perfect piece of defensive. Because if you die, your team die, and you surviving and you not spending your cooldown to heal yourself, it's gonna be better than just having more refreshing to send more cooldown onto you, if that makes sense. So yeah, in the open world PvP, healing it can be kind of weird if you're not into a group. So healing in PvP when you're not into a group, I recommend to go AoE or all single target. You go with what is the build? It's a beacon, it give haste, and then you have single target heal and another single target heal. So you have two heal that give haste, so you make the people run fast and you make yourself run fast around. So this is a really fun build to do, or you go all AoE. But if you're into a group play, you're gonna need to do like probably Sacred Ground, one uh single, and the other gonna be like Splash of Light. And Splash of Light, if you're not into a group, it's kind of mid, but if you're into a group, we all know it's an amazing ability. So yeah, this is kind of it for this video. Um, so yeah, just Void Blade everything at the start when you level up, and it's kind of easy. You can change your life staff too at the start for something else. Like you can use what you can do is use a rapier as a secondary and use a void gauntlet as a main. And then if you have hard time somewhere, then you switch for your life staff, just just to survive better with your void gauntlet. But if you have a rapier and a void gauntlet, you're gonna be able to move faster around, and you're gonna level up both weapons that you kinda need to level up. And you just put everything into you do everything with your Void Gauntlet, kinda, and your Rapier is just more there to move around. It's gonna be way faster than a Life Staff, because we all know that the Life Staff have no movement, and that is better like that, because if you look the video from the beta of the game, the Life Staff had a like movement ability, and it was weird, really weird. You need to go see that. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching this video. I wish everyone a good night or a good day. Peace out.
I'll get a
I'm coming back,
screenshot.
guys.
Great screenshot.
No, somehow. Fucking A.
All right, I'm on the backside.
Come in the door
on the
right there. Try
backside.
to block there.
I'm also in the door.
I'm the only one out here. They're dying. All right, I died.
No way we're gonna win that.
Dude, what the fuck?
We just saw too much people, man. What the fuck?
That's what they get for trying to kill the shit out of us.
Yeah.
NVIDIA. What is the
What the fuck?
No way we
Dude,
won that.
how the fuck did that happen? Dude, I wish I bought that thing.